After establishing religious and administrative control, the Spanish Empire turned to economic exploitation. And unlike the gold mines of the Americas, in the Philippines wealth was extracted not from the land, but from the people themselves. The Spanish introduced the Polo y Servicios, a forced labor system where every Filipino male between 16 and 60 had to provide 40 days of unpaid labor each year. It was supposed to be for public works, roads, bridges, churches. But in reality, this labor was often diverted to build galleons, serve colonial elites, or fuel private profits. Men were taken from their families for months, sometimes years, and forced to work under brutal conditions. Those who resisted were punished, jailed, or publicly flogged. For many indigenous communities, this was nothing short of economic enslavement. At the same time, Spain set up the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade, one of the longest-running and most profitable trade routes in history. From 1565 to 1815, luxury goods from China, India, and the Philippines, silk, spices, porcelain, were loaded onto ships in Manila and sent to Mexico, then Europe. But the irony? Filipinos had no control over this trade. Land, too, was stolen. Communal lands that once fed entire villages were claimed by Spanish friars and turned into massive haciendas. Those who once lived off the land were now forced to pay rent or become tenant farmers working land they used to own. Even local commerce was crippled. The Spanish restricted native entrepreneurship, forbidding Filipinos from engaging in large-scale trade or owning certain businesses. Only Chinese traders and Spanish elites were allowed to participate in broader markets, reinforcing a racial and class hierarchy that privileged foreigners over locals. This wasn't an oversight. It was a system, engineered to ensure that Filipinos remained dependent, disempowered, and impoverished. So while Spain grew wealthy on the backs of Filipino labor and trade routes connecting Asia and the Americas, the Philippines itself stagnated, denied the opportunity to industrialize, develop its own economy, or benefit from the very resources it exported. And all of this was enforced not just by laws and swords, but by ideology, by conditioning an entire population to see themselves as inferior, unworthy of autonomy, and incapable of self-rule. In the next section, we'll dive into the brutal legacy of resistance, the revolts, rebellions, and revolutionary leaders who dared to say, enough.